Representative Clark has introduced legislation and held a foreclosure moratorium hearing Wednesday. What's your caucus's take on the possibility of a foreclosure moratorium? She hasn't gotten a second hearing.
I don't know the bill. I know there's been, a lot of federal legislation. I know there's been some lawsuits that have been settled on foreclosures. I think it's best to let some of these things that have already been put in place take effect, be successful or unsuccessful if there needs to be changes. But I think in the last 4 or 5 years, we've had 17 or 18 different bills dealing with mortgage foreclosure. And if you keep changing what it is we're doing and how we're doing it, I think you probably lose your effectiveness. So I think with some of the federal programs, and I believe there's a lawsuit that was settled with the banks that are going to have something to do with foreclosure. So I think it's best to let some of these things work themselves out first before we start adding new rules or new laws.
I have no background on that one. I wouldn't even want to comment. I've not been briefed on it. Beg your pardon?
Is there a foreclosure problem in Minnesota, and how could that be solved?
Well, we've been through this one a couple of times in different legislative sessions. If there's a good idea out there, we ought to deal with it, but I can't be specific. It wouldn't be right for me to comment. I just don't have the background information on it.
Well, I think it was pretty clear from your questions on that to the Republican leadership that the chances of that passing is zero. The reality is we do have a whole package of foreclosure bills that we think make a lot of sense. We know that in 2012 foreclosures are going to tick up again. This is not a crisis that has gone away. People are underwater in their homes, and there's some very specific things we can do. I'm very frustrated and disappointed with the Republicans repeatedly saying, we're going to just wash our hands of this problem that's affecting tens of thousands of Minnesota homeowners all across this state in the very most fundamental economic piece of their economic prosperity. And they ought to actually at least listen and understand some of the things that we're proposing to help folks out on foreclosures instead of just walking again away from middle-class Minnesotans.
Well, Senator Dibble's been here a long time, and he understands the committee deadlines and the reluctance of the Republicans to actually move a standalone bill. So I will have a conversation with him about looking for a vehicle on the floor of the Senate where it would be a germane amendment. And we'll find out if Republicans on the floor of the Senate care about people that are in foreclosure.